He wasn't supposed to be there, at least not in their eyes. A teenage boy, the son of a black maid, quietly stepped into a glittering mansion where every chandelier sparkled with wealth, and every glance dripped with judgment. They thought they knew his place. They thought they knew his worth. But when he sat across from the millionaire's polished chessboard, the room shifted. What happened next would shatter egos, challenge stereotypes, and leave an entire household speechless. Was this just a game, or a checkmate against prejudice? Malik was just 15, but his mind worked like a well-oiled machine, sharp, patient, always 3 steps ahead. Most afternoons you could find him in the small kitchen of a downtown apartment, bent over a battered chessboard his mother had found at a thrift store. His mother, Denise, worked 6 days a week as a maid in one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in the city. Malik had never cared much about the glitter of that world. His victories were measured in strategies, not in gold. One Saturday, she brought him along to help with small chores at the mansion. It wasn't unusual, just dusting, sweeping, keeping out of the way. But as he entered the marble-floored foyer, the air felt different. Eyes lingered on him a little too long. Conversations paused mid-sentence. Somewhere in that house, an invitation, or perhaps a challenge, was already being prepared. Malik didn't know it yet, but before the day was over, he'd be seated across from a millionaire at a polished chessboard, and the game would be about far more than pieces on a board. The mansion was a monument to wealth. Glass walls catching the sunlight, marble floors so polished they reflected the ceiling's chandeliers. Malik kept his head down as his mother worked, careful not to brush against anything that looked like it cost more than their entire apartment. But it didn't take long for him to notice the stares. The butler's polite smile didn't reach his eyes. A woman in a silk dress whispered something to her friend, both glancing his way before laughing softly. He was used to being invisible. Today, he was anything but. In the grand lounge, the millionaire himself, Victor Harrow, sat surrounded by guests, a chessboard spread before him like a stage. Malik lingered in the doorway, watching as Harrow dispatched his opponent in under 5 moves. Applause rippled through the room, but Harrow's eyes drifted past the crowd and locked onto Malik. "You there?" Harrow called, voice smooth but laced with condescension. "Ever played chess?" The room went quiet. Malik's mother stiffened beside him, her hand gripping his arm. "He's just here to help me, sir," she said quickly. But Harrow smiled the way a cat does before cornering a mouse. "Come now, it's only a game. Let's see what the young man can do." Whispers rose like smoke. Some smirked, others raised eyebrows. To them, it wasn't an invitation, it was a spectacle, a test. Malik could feel the weight of every gaze, the unspoken question hanging in the air. Does he even belong at this table? He sat. His fingers brushed the cool, carved pieces, and Harrow chuckled. "I'll go easy on you," he said, moving his pawn. Malik's mind snapped into focus. The board was familiar territory, but the setting was hostile ground. The first few moves were casual, Harrow leaning back, clearly expecting an easy win. But Malik's responses were crisp, precise, and unsettlingly fast. A murmur spread through the onlookers. Harrow's smile faltered. By the 10th move, he was leaning forward, brows furrowed. That's when the comments began. "Beginner's luck," one man muttered. "He probably doesn't even know what he's doing," another added. Each word was meant to shrink Malik down, to remind him of his place. But Malik didn't flinch. Every move was a statement, every capture a quiet defiance. His mother stood behind him, torn between pride and fear. Pride for the son who could hold his own. Fear for the backlash this might bring. By the 15th move, Harrow's position was crumbling. The air grew tense. Someone laughed nervously. Harrow's jaw tightened, and with every piece he lost, the room's mood shifted. From amusement to disbelief. Malik could feel the pressure building. This wasn't just about winning a game anymore. This was about proving, in front of a room full of doubters, that their assumptions meant nothing. And as Malik's knight landed on its square, trapping Harrow's queen, a collective gasp filled the room. Harrow looked up, meeting Malik's eyes for the first time without a smirk. The next move could end it all. But in a house like this, victories were rarely welcomed. Malik's fingers hovered over the board, his mind 3 moves ahead. One final sequence, and Harrow would be in checkmate, trapped, humiliated, defeated in front of his own guests. But before he could place his piece, Harrow leaned back and let out a sharp laugh that cut through the silence. "Well," Harrow said loudly, "looks like the boy's had his fun. We'll call it a draw." The words dripped with dismissal, as if the game, Malik's victory, had never happened. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the room. Malik froze, his hand still gripping the knight. A draw? He had him cornered. Everyone could see it. Then came the chuckles. Not from everyone, but enough. The kind that said, "Know your place." Harrow casually swept the pieces back into their box, never breaking eye contact with Malik. "You've got spirit," he said, as if granting him a compliment. "But chess is more than quick moves. It's about understanding the game." The room's temperature seemed to drop. Malik's chest tightened, a slow burn rising from his stomach to his throat. This wasn't about a game. It was about erasing him, about making sure the story in. This room would never be that a black maid's son outplayed a millionaire. His mother stepped forward, her eyes wet but fierce. She rested a hand on his shoulder, a silent message. "Don't give them the satisfaction of seeing you break, Malik." Swallowed hard, the weight of every gaze pressing on him. He could feel the injustice hanging in the air like thick smoke, undeniable, choking, real. He placed his knight down, not on the winning square, but gently on the side of the board. For a moment, no one spoke. Then, as Harrow stood, satisfied, Malik locked eyes with him, steady, unblinking. It wasn't checkmate on the board, but the game between them had only just begun. Malik left the mansion that day without saying a word. The air outside felt different, cooler, quieter, but the silence was heavy. He walked beside his mother, hearing only the echo of laughter that wasn't really laughter, the smugness in Harrow's voice, the quiet erasure of his win. Back home, the battered chessboard sat on their kitchen table. Malik stared at it, the wood worn smooth from years of use. On that board, the rules were fair. Every piece had the same chance to move, the same opportunity to win, no matter where it started. But in the real world, the rules were written by people like Harrow, and they could change them whenever they felt threatened. In the days that followed, Malik didn't stop playing. If anything, he studied harder, but the game had taken on a new meaning. It wasn't just about strategy. It was about proving that intelligence, dignity, and worth could not be boxed in by prejudice. This wasn't just one afternoon in a wealthy man's home. It was a mirror, reflecting a truth far too many know. That talent is often ignored, silenced, or stolen when it comes from the wrong place or the wrong skin. And yet, Malik's quiet defiance had planted something in that room. An unease they couldn't erase as easily as they had erased his victory, because deep down they knew the truth. And truth once seen has a way of spreading. So maybe the question isn't whether Malik will win his next game. The question is, when will we stop changing the rules to keep people from winning?